Hello! Today we're going to be doing a garden tour and showing you guys where everything is at mid-July 2024. We planted everything probably back in April-ish. Some of it went in May, just depending on how it looked. We started a lot of this as seed indoors, but then a lot of it actually we direct sowed, and it's all looking so different from the last garden tour. So if you guys are interested in seeing, stay tuned. We're going to keep going. We've already done one, like I said, Zach did one maybe about a month ago, and it looks so different.
Yeah, it's grown up quite a bit from there. Yeah, we're starting to get some things in our garden that we can harvest, that we can dig out. And we're going into kind of that midsummer time where we can start planting for fall.
So this is all the hardneck garlic that we have, and it's probably getting really close to harvesting. So I came out and I did a video recently where I was cutting the garlic scapes, which are these curly guys right here. And I did a whole video harvesting them, talking to you about them, and then processing them. So if you guys haven't seen that, I'm gonna have it linked. The cool thing is I actually missed an entire row. They weren't up yet, so I didn't think to cut them. This is gonna be a really good indicator of when it's time to pick our garlic. So apparently when they are ready to harvest, you know, because the garlic scapes will straighten out and then the flower will want to try to open up, and that's when you know that you can harvest the rest of your garlic. Which then what you do is you'll take it out and then we'll cure it and then store it, and we'll probably either process it into garlic powder or whatever we're gonna do with it, chop it up and freeze it as well. So this is our garlic and it's looking pretty good. This was all planted mid-fall last year. In this row that we have here, we have cattle panel trellises that we put up. Basically, you just put some T-posts in the ground, and then these are cattle panels. And we did this so that we have some structure to stabilize our tomatoes or anything that we want to climb. And then all along here, so we've got our tomatoes all throughout here, which are not actually producing tomatoes at all yet, just flowers, but that's it. And then all along these trellises on both sides, I'll show you the other one as well, which even looks better than this one, is snow peas. Are they snow peas or sugar snap? These are going to be something that we are going to grow forever. Like, they are literally one of the most satisfying things we've ever grown. 10 of 10 will grow again. I direct sowed all of these. None of these were starts. So you literally just push the seed down into the ground right when after the last frost, and they literally are taking off and producing an unbelievable amount of peas. Obviously, I'm going to pick one here for you and bring it up to the camera, but they are absolutely delicious and wonderful, and we get handfuls of them daily. Our kiddo comes out here and picks them, and they're just wonderful. They're so good, and they're awesome in stir fries. They're just so prolific, and the craziest part about them is that other than the garlic, of everything we've ever planted in our garden, 0 pest damage. No pest pressure on these at all. Bugs don't seem to like them, which is like, why? I don't know. They're really good and extremely, extremely prolific. They just keep producing. Every day you will get peas and peas and peas. So then, as you see these guys here, these are actually radishes that we're letting go to seed. We planted radishes with our kiddo. We wanted to let him just like, we want to teach him about gardening. Ah! Anthill. They're biting me. Oh my God, there's hundreds. Thousands, millions of them.
Millions of them.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you were right in there.
I was just standing in their anthill. Oh my God. They're just covering my feet, bro. Should I put like a board down and let them... They were underneath my, what's that thing called? The kneeling pad. I moved the kneeling pad out and that was what was underneath it. That hurt. I didn't know that they bit.
Oh yeah, they're attacking the hell out of you. They're like, get away from our queen.
Okay, we're gonna move to a different area. Couldn't even feel them crawling on me until they bit me. Okay, we're gonna move to this side because it's the exact same things that I was just talking about, but without an aggressive ant colony being mad at me. So yeah, you can see all of these. What I did is I just planted them about 3 or 4 inches apart, and 1, 2, 3, and they just absolutely popped up everywhere, and they're producing like crazy. They climb up the trellis, they grab on themselves. Wonderful. We also have them right behind you that I'll show you, growing up a arched cattle panel trellis that we put up. And they literally are so amazing. Like, I cannot speak highly enough of these peas and the fact that I think everybody should grow them. I don't know how they grow in everybody's zone, but they are just 50 of 10 here. Could not recommend enough. So then we have a bunch of different varieties of tomatoes. I started these all from seed back in probably February. I started them really early, and they're doing all right. They seem to be doing just fine. and we don't have any tomatoes, like I said, yet, but we do have flowers, which is great. So we should be getting some tomatoes starting off here anytime. I'm just kind of flicking the flowers. You can do this when you come out and just kind of tap them and flick them so that they pollinate. So most of these should be indeterminate varieties, so they'll just keep producing more and more tomatoes. But you know what? I have no idea what any of these varieties are because I started them all in trays. They all got messed up. All their stakes got put in different places. This is going to be an every year thing for us. We are not people that remember what things are. I just know like a tomato's a tomato is a tomato. And it's kind of obvious when they start growing anyway. Are you standing on the ants? No.
Dude, that was crazy. They were actually pissed at you.
Yeah, they're climbing all over me.
Okay, so in this row, we have, this is kind of like mine and Christy's collaboration on this garden. Christy had planted their bush beans. She had planted bush beans in this row. I didn't know it because we've been working on the garden like separately. So I came through and I was like, oh, I'm gonna plant a bunch of russet potatoes in this row, and I covered up all of her beans. Thankfully, I didn't kill any of them. They hadn't sprouted yet. They were just beginning to sprout right when I did that. So luckily, we were able to uncover them and salvage the beans, and so the dogs can step on them. They're just now beginning to flower, which is exciting. So we should be getting some beans here pretty soon. These potatoes, I'm doing a new way that I've seen other people do. What you do is you basically just plop the potato down on the dirt, and then you pile up straw or compost or whatever you want, but most people just use straw. That kind of acts as a mulch for the potatoes. They can grow up through the straw. It keeps them moist. It also, as the straw starts to break down, it starts to feed them. So we're gonna see if this method works like decently well. I have no idea. So far, the plants look all right. Our potatoes always kind of have like heavy pest damage because we don't spray or do anything. And we never really know how much to fertilize potatoes. So we might just be massively under fertilizing, to be honest, because we do like once every couple of weeks, we'll do fish emulsion, and yeah, we'll do like a phosphorus and a potassium fertilizer as well. But mostly we'll just do a lot of nitrogen, and we never know how much to do. So we're just kind of winging it with potatoes. And I'm hoping that this method works and we get like a decent amount, because last year we did it in the ground. We mounded them a little bit. We didn't mound them enough. We didn't feed them enough. We didn't water them enough, and we got nothing. We got like just potato greens, and like all of our potatoes were minuscule little nothings. So I'm hoping this is the way, because this was like literally the easiest thing in the world to do. You just put the potato on the ground and throw a bunch of straw on it and then water it in. The other thing we have in this row is this giant perennialized oregano, and right now it's going into flower. We haven't been harvesting it. We're pretty bad about harvesting our herbs. We just kind of let them go to flower, and they're just getting bigger and bigger every year. But I've been planting, another thing that we have problems with in our garden is peppers. So I put peppers kind of like here and there all throughout our whole garden instead of doing them all in a row, because I want to see where they grow best. Our garden is slanted, and so a lot of the water just like runs down. So I'm not sure if they do better at the top of our garden or at the bottom, or if they do better with like part shade or full sun. I don't know. So we're testing it. So I kind of have like peppers all throughout our garden. So yeah, this is our beans, potatoes, and peppers.
So this is our onion patch that I am so proud of. This is the first time we've ever grown onions and actually had them get big and turn into actual onions. These were all from Home Depot, actually. So I saw that they had a sale on onion sets at the beginning of the year. They were $3.99 for 90 onion sets. So I bought 3 bags. So we have 270 onions right here. They're all huge. I'm gonna put my hand next to one so you can see the size, but they're a real onion size, like not puny loser. And so this is kind of the first year that we've had significant onions. And one thing we did differently, fertilize. Using a fish emulsion fertilizer every few weeks seems to have made a difference. So these aren't fully ready yet. They're gonna flop over when they're ready. The heads start to already seem to be doing that on some of them, but they flop over and then you can pull them and then they'll store for a while. Onions can store for quite a long time. These are a decent storing variety. When we bought these, they can store for like 5 months, which is great. And then if not, we can always chop them up, freeze them. We can do lots of different things with them. But this whole entire row that you see right here is all onions from Home Depot. I'm actually pretty stoked about that because they were so inexpensive. I mean, $3.99. We also have onions right here along this row where the ants just attacked me, so I'm not gonna try to go on the other side. But as you can see, these are going to flower. These are from last year. So these are last year's onions. So we didn't plant these this year like these. We planted these last year and just let them overwinter, and then now they're going to flower, and bees love them. We can still use them for like onion powder, things like that. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They're just, I don't know, big old onions. And then this is the same row. This is all tomatoes. We probably planted about 40 tomato plants. There's peppers as well down at the end, which look all right. And a lot of radishes that are going to seed. Again, we're letting them go to seed because, well, we just planted about 700 radishes and got 0 radishes out of it, but our chickens eat them, and we're letting them go to seed because it's really fun to harvest seed. And it's great. And it's really easy. Little seed pods right on here. As soon as they dry out, you just pour them. Radishes, baby. All right, so this row that you see here is very empty. I planted this completely with 100% like full of carrots. I think I see like maybe 5 carrots in here. I probably planted 500, so that's awesome. But also these are cucumbers. So cucumber, and then you see back here, volunteer potatoes. That's what these giant guys are. They just came back from last year. A random pea. And then down at the end is also a bunch of cucumbers. We've got a couple of tomatoes that Zach found that were volunteer, put in the front here, and some peppers. So we just it's kind of a wild garden, but a garden nonetheless. And this row is sort of like just mostly unused. Zach put a cage all around this because we were getting bunnies eating all of our corn seedlings. But look at the corn. Knee-high on a grasshopper. It's actually not knee-high on a grasshopper. It's like shoulder height now, and it's amazing because literally a week ago it was down here. It grows so fast. So this is Dent Corn. It is not like a sweet edible corn variety. It is edible. Dent Corn can be made into cornmeal, corn flour, things like that. So this looks amazing. We can now remove this fence. It was just getting absolutely obliterated by bunnies that were finding their way in when it was like a corn seedlings. They were so small and it was like really infuriating. The corn is looking absolutely amazing. Look how far back it goes. And they're all so cute and wonderful. And I love them. We can take the fence down now too. So here we have sage. This is a big giant perennial sage that grows up here. Right behind it is a big zucchini plant that we have that is finally gonna start producing zucchinis. I can see that it's finally starting. It's so late in the year, and we only have one. They kept getting eaten by slugs. So we had a really bad slug year. It was just absolutely awful. There's also some green beans next to this, and that's kind of all that's in this row because again, these back 2 rows just kind of got obliterated by slugs, and I just was like, not that I gave up, but I was like, I'm not gonna waste any more seeds on slugs. We're gonna talk now about this patch. It might look like a bunch of weeds, but it is 100% strawberries. And weeds. Behind me, yeah, these are weeds. These big boys. These are just like a lettuce or something like that. They're called compass plant. All that you see along the ground here is an actually insane amount of strawberries. You guys, when I say the amount of strawberries that we actually planted versus the amount of plants that we have is mind-blowing. We didn't know, and I might be teaching you something here. When you buy a strawberry plant from like a nursery or wherever, that is not one strawberry plant usually. It's like 10 in one pot. So you can like split that up and like have 10 different strawberry plants. We didn't know that, and so we bought like 8 different ones of 10, planted them as one plant, and they have absolutely exploded in growth. Like when I'm talking, this was all we planted right here with the blueberries. Underneath the blueberries, we planted some strawberries. They have taken over an entire row, an entire walkway of wood chips, and then an entire second row absolutely covered with strawberries, to the point where we are giving our friends and family like, here's some plants, like here's strawberry for you, strawberry for you. And we are coming out here and we have already filled 3-gallon Ziploc bags with strawberries. We are able to harvest, like probably today I could probably get another gallon Ziploc bag full. It's unbelievable, and it is one of my most favorite things that we have because it's so much fruit and they just are prolific. They need nothing, they want for nothing. And I've noticed that these strawberries grow, and like they're growing over there in the gravel. They're growing here in wood chips. They just are like wanting to be, so we are letting them be. And we have a million strawberries growing. They're so wonderful. So that's all those. And then these plants that you guys can see back here, these are all blueberries. So we actually had a place that was selling 15-year-old blueberry bushes. We have a video, like a short that we put up on YouTube about it. But Zach showed planting these, and they're doing great. They did really, really well. These guys are all old blueberry bushes. We have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish blueberry plants back here, and they're all doing really well. They're not fully ripe yet, but they will be shortly. I feel like they're going to be a little bit more of the end of July. And then over here in this corner, we have raspberries, and our raspberry plants are doing really well too. This entire row that you see here are raspberries. We have a couple of different varieties, and what we've discovered is we really like the strawberry shortcake variety because they taste really good. They're a bushing variety, they're not caning, and they're really, really easy to grow, and they seem to really like to grow. Obviously, these are a caning variety mixed with that back here, but we have a lot of raspberries growing in, and it's just looking really, really good. Like, we're talking great raspberry growth. Some of them are yellowing. Do they probably need more fertilizer? I don't know exactly what they need. But raspberries, nonetheless, we're actually finally getting raspberries. You know, well, that one's not quite ready, but this one is. And they taste absolutely wonderful. Oh, it's so yummy. We have a bag going in the house too of blueberries and raspberry mixture, and they're just delightful. We have an orchard here too. This is our orchard. Nothing's happening in it. Birds ate all our cherries. Apple trees didn't flower. Peach trees are dead. It's sad. We'll get to that eventually. Okay, and so this is one of the final rows we'll talk to you about. We're gonna show you the potato bags and stuff in a second, but this right here is so exciting. It's our first pole bean, and I wanted a ton of these. Like, as much as we have of sweet peas, I wanted to have of green beans, but when I tell you the slug damage it's impossible. We unfortunately had to start using Sluggo. I never would have used anything like this in my life, but when I tell you, we've tried beer traps, we tried copper tape, we've tried picking them off and throwing them. We're doing everything we can, and we would come out in the morning and the green beans would be empty, like no leaves left, no way to photosynthesize, just dead. So we had to start using that. That's not why this is growing, actually. This one, it was okay, obviously. We only started using Sluggo like 4 days ago. So other than that though, this is our one pole bean that we have here, and it's flowering, and I'm so excited it's gonna grow up over the trellis. So I'm very excited about the green bean because it's starting to flower, and we have another one growing next to it. I planted like hundreds of these. I'm not exaggerating when I say hundreds. We have 2. So that's slugs. Here is all the beets that I started. I started all of these actually inside of the house, and I started them from seeds. We're gonna harvest these today. So actually that's gonna be in another video that we have coming up, and then we'll show you kind of how everything looks, and I'm gonna actually pickle all of these. I've never done it before, but I'm excited to do it. So these are ready. The reason we know that they're ready is, first of all, these only get to like the size of, I think they said a golf ball, maybe like a small baseball or something like that. But yeah, a couple of them have bolted, and beets are just kind of done for the year. So we're gonna pick all these. Okay, Zach was just telling me that once you start to see them swell above the ground and the top of the beet is sticking up out of the ground, that's a sign that usually they're ready, and ours are doing that. I can see it right now. So we're gonna harvest all these today. We're gonna then plant something else in this spot. So actually we might go to maybe the store or something like that and get some other things to plant or figure something out. But this is our final row, and then we have this little guy over here, he's a squash. Don't know if it's zucchini or not. I couldn't tell you what this squash is, so we'll start to see when it starts to grow. And then we have some random tomatoes, and that's it for this row. So over here is the asparagus bed. This guy's actually looking pretty cute. It's also full of strawberries, so it's also full of creeping buttercup. Things grow wild out here. But this is asparagus, and it's so cute. Yeah, we'll clean it up in the fall and plant more strawberries and things like that in here. Take the creeping buttercup out, but for now, it is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potato bags that we have here that we're gonna harvest today. They look like they're done. The leaves are starting to yellow and wilt, and so that's kind of when you know that it's ready, because the plant starts to die. So we're gonna harvest all these potatoes today, but these have been a great way, I think, to grow potatoes. We're gonna find out. We'll see in the next video. So if you guys are interested to see how potato bags worked, stay tuned. So these ones are all yellowing, wilting, and ready to go, but then we planted some other potatoes later that are all green and doing well still, so that's how we can kind of tell that these guys are ready and those are not. So potato bags are actually, we'll see, but I think this is going to be the way we do potatoes if it works out well. It'll either be these or the straw method. We're going to compare how many potatoes we get from each one and see, but as of right now, this was really easy and they seem to do great over here. So we're gonna harvest them today, we'll see. And that's it for the garden tour. We have other things growing in here, but it is really taking off. As soon as the tomatoes start going, it's gonna just be even more amazing. This side of the garden always looks way better, and I think it's because it's slightly on a slope.
So it's just a gentle slope.
But that means all the water runs off this way, so everything over here is like lush and beautiful, and everything over here is dry and crispy and sad, which is fine. It fits my mood.
We're starting to learn. That's kind of what I was experimenting with the peppers, is planting some of the peppers on this side, some of the peppers on this side, to see where they do best. The garlic seemed to do better on this side. I think they would have been too soggy on this side. So I think root vegetables like on the downhill would be a bad idea.
Now we're gonna harvest everything, so that'll be in our next video that we upload. I'm not exactly sure when these are going up, but stay tuned if you guys want to see what we're able to get from this. There's going to be a lot more to come, and we're going to do succession planting, and like we're going to do like a sowing right now. So we're going to see what we can grow through, like starting in July through the fall, etc. So if you guys are interested in seeing more of these, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. We're gonna be doing a lot more garden updates and a lot more things coming up here in the future. I'm also gonna be doing some canning and things like that because, like I said, I'm gonna be doing pickled beets for the first time, and our kid literally is obsessed with pickled beets. I've never met a kid that loves them. He can't get enough. And so I'm going to make stuff out of this stuff, and I'm very excited. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you at our next video.
Bye.
Bye.